Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
The Athens Transportation Committee is discussing the possibility of adding bike lanes to East State Street. Good evening, I'm Lily Bradley. Thanks for joining us. But first, the Athens Police Department is investigating several sexual assault cases reported in the past few months. A new high-definition camera called the Cortex Flow machine will soon come to Oblenis Hospital in Athens and should make the process for victims less traumatic. Here's an in-depth look at the new technology and how it will work.
Oblenis is expected to have the new equipment in about 3 weeks. The machine is designed to provide proof of rape through high-definition photos.
It's going to get us the evidence we need to be able to make determinations on whether or not we can successfully prove sexual assault allegations. You know, when there's a document that says there's slight tearing or some sort of injury, without photographs of it, you know, it's difficult for us to be able to have an expert testify how severe the tearing was, whether the tearing was caused by the sexual assault. And so it'll make it where, you know, we're at least prepared to be able to best serve victims.
The Cortex Flow provides a higher resolution for the photographs. It allows us to zoom in on an area closer so that we can see evidence more up close. And it also allows the examiner who's doing the clinical exam to be able to be hands-free with that. So there's a foot pedal that controls the camera. So while they're doing the exam with their hands, they don't have to have their hands on a camera to take photographs.
When patients come to the emergency room for sexual assault or rape, they will be examined with the machine and kit.
They complete what we call a sexual assault kit or a rape kit on that patient, and they go through about 16 different steps for evidence collection in that kit.
Once that unit is installed, nurses will be trained on its use. The system is being purchased with donations from the community. To find out more on how the new camera will be helpful to the nursing staff and sexual assault victims, visit woub.org. A tech company agrees to donate land to the city of Athens. TS Tech Americas is donating 15 acres of land to the city. Athens plans to use part of the land to build a new station for the Athens County EMS and the remaining part for safety services related training. The TS Tech facility in Athens is a vehicle manufacturing plant for Honda. A Kentucky councilman was arrested on drug charges over the weekend. Richard Brown posted bond on Saturday after being arrested on 4 meth-related charges, including drug trafficking. The mayor of Catlettsburg, Kentucky, does not know whether or not Brown is planning to resign. Catlettsburg Police Chief Cameron Logan said an investigation into Brown began months before Brown took office back in January, after informants told officers that Brown was using and selling drugs. Mayor Randall Peterman is currently talking with attorneys about the next steps for the city. A local team of professionals is hoping to expand Athens County's access to solar panel technology. The Athens-based Solar Access Team has been accepted into the Solar in Your Community Challenge, a competition aiming to expand access to solar energy across the country. Teams must submit solar projects between 25 kilowatts and 5 megawatts that have been administered in their communities. Adding bike lanes to East State Street is just one of the changes the Athens Transportation Committee is currently thinking about, and the possibility has stirred some debate. WUB's Caitlin Shive was at last night's meeting.
The Transportation Committee is considering a number of options to move traffic along East State Street, such as reworking the entrance and exit ramps on US 3350 and repaving part of the street. But the most controversial proposal would add bike lanes to the busiest street in town. Councilmember Peter Costas says the change would make the street safer.
You know, we have this extra space there. Why not delineate and identify a whole new lane that's specifically for bikes so that they don't have to go out and mix it up in the traffic. I just think it makes it safer for everyone.
Matthew Roberts, who serves on the Environment and Sustainability Commission, says bike lanes would help those who don't want to use their cars.
What this project creates, aside from bike lanes, is the opportunity to create a more pedestrian-friendly environment, a city that's more livable, so that people have the opportunity and the options to take whatever route they want.
Some residents of Athens are for adding the new bike lanes, but others disagree with the decision.
I saw a letter where somebody had mentioned that if you have bike lanes, you're going to have cars turning to the right and perhaps knocking those bikes off. So I'm more concerned about the safety of what I perceived as a real threat to bicyclists rather than pedestrians.
Athens resident Jan Hodson urged the committee to table the ordinance
so that we can discuss it more fully, more broadly, perhaps with people even in the county who use that corridor, so that we make a good decision here.
The proposal calls for the bike lanes to start on East Park Drive and go all the way down East State Street to Cook Drive.
If the plan goes into effect, Athens residents should expect to see construction beginning this year, although it will ultimately be a 2-year process.
Good evening and welcome to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Adriana Davies, and today was kind of a winter weather wake-up call. We haven't seen temperatures this cold in a very long time. We were kind of below average with our temperatures as well today, which was unusual because we usually are high and above the average of temperatures. But as for right now in Athens, we're looking at 27 degrees under mostly cloudy skies with winds at 14 miles an hour. So keep in mind that wind will make the temperatures seem significantly cooler. The wind chill tonight is supposed to go into the negatives. Right now around the region, 27 in Marietta, Athens, and Ripley, 30 down in Ironton and Jackson, and 22 up in Columbus as our regional low. Our overnight lows around the area, mid-teens around for everyone pretty much. 15 in Athens, 16 down in Ironton with mostly cloudy skies around the area. Like I said, keep in mind those wind chills will make these temperatures become kind of negative over the night. By 8 p.m., 24 degrees. By noon, we're looking at 18, and by 4 a.m., 17 degrees. But into next week, we will see a little bit of a warm up, and I'm excited for the spring temperatures that are here to come, Lily.
Me too. It was really chilly today, but hopefully that sun will come back and it'll be nice and warm. Thanks, Adriana. Ohio companies are about to get a big check from the state. The Injured Workers Fund has more than $1 billion of investment earnings, and the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation wants to give that money back to the more than 200,000 employers in the state. That means those employers would get back about 2/3 of the workers' comp premiums they've paid. A final decision on the proposed rebate should come next month. If approved, employers can expect checks in the mail by July. 2 Dayton area universities were placed on lockdown last night following reports of armed robbery and gunfire. Central State University says they received a report around 8:30 last night of an armed robbery in a building on campus. While investigating, officials say they heard a gunshot. That's when both Central State and nearby Wilberforce University issued campus-wide lockdowns. Central State says 1 female student was wounded. A weapon has been recovered, but no arrests have been made. State officials will spend more time reviewing public feedback on Ohio's plan for state education testing. Federal regulators will take a look at the plan under the new education law. The state intended to send the plan next month, but educators have criticized the draft for not reducing standardized testing. Ohio currently has 24 standardized tests, which is more than the federal required amount. The state has until September to submit its final plan. A Texas man found himself as a personal target for ISIS. More on how this happened coming up. And representatives from both sides of the aisle are criticizing President Trump's new health care plan. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming. It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is. The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous. Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
The day after a report from the Congressional Budget Office added more heat to the debate surrounding their health care bill, the White House and some Republicans have slammed the numbers, while Democrats seem energized by them. Karen Kafa has more.
New numbers making the sale of the GOP health care plan tougher. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office estimating the number of uninsured Americans would climb by 24 million by 2026 under the Republican plan. The Trump administration taking aim at the messenger.
This is exactly what we thought the CBO would come forth with. They're terrible at counting coverage.
Some Hill Republicans critical of the White House criticism and of President Trump for backing a plan that doesn't keep his word.
The 14 million people are losing insurance. I'm concerned within a year relative to where we would be. That's not what President Trump promised.
Speaker Paul Ryan, aides say, plans to keep the bill moving in the House with little to no changes. Staying the course may be the consequence of little room to maneuver. Conservative Republicans don't like the plan's refundable tax credits. Moderate Republicans don't like the phase-out of the Medicaid expansion. And the idea of getting help from red state Democrats in the Senate took a hit, with the report's conclusions that older and lower-income Americans would feel the most impact.
I have a poor population, I have an elderly population, and I have a horrible addiction problem with opiates. And with that being said, all three of those categories get just devastated.
Democratic leaders say they saw this coming.
Trump care is a wreck. And we all knew that before the Congressional Budget Office released its surprisingly scathing score last night.
Many have called President Trump's new plan a Robin Hood bill in reverse. We'll be following this story as it develops. A North Texas man has found himself being a target of ISIS after a video recently surfaced calling for his assassination. Imam Omar Suleiman says the video appeared on YouTube calling him an apostate, someone who renounces a religious belief. Jeff Paul reports.
means kill the imams of disbelief.
Using his face and his words,
then I'm actually obligated as a Muslim to obey those laws.
Imam Omar Suleiman says ISIS wants him dead.
I believe that their venom needs to be condemned. They've hijacked my religion.
The clip, now removed from YouTube, was posted shortly after Suleiman's interfaith work with Pastor Andrew Stoker of First United Methodist Church, Dallas. Their video, called An Imam, a Pastor, and a Dream, reaffirms the idea of unity amongst religions.
It makes me that much more determined. When I see that hateful groups are increasing in their hatred towards us and trying to delegitimize us, that tells me that we're doing something right.
Suleiman is no stranger to threats, but this is a first from ISIS.
You've got ISIS on one hand saying you can't be a Muslim American because you can't truly be loyal to your Muslim part. And you've got Islamophobes on the other hand saying you can't be a Muslim American because you can't be loyal to your American part. And you've got a whole bunch of American Muslims in the middle going, well, where do we fall?
Former FBI Deputy Director Buck Revell says the threat is serious.
Well, certainly we've had a number of enough attacks here in the United States to know that there is a capability.
Revell says these type of calls for killings from ISIS on Muslims are more common than most think.
The majority of people that are attacked in the Muslim religion are attacked by other Muslims.
Revell commends Suleiman for standing up against ISIS. Suleiman says he has no choice.
You know, whether it's a guy holding a rifle outside of my mosque, shouting bigoted things and threatening me and my family, or it's someone producing a video from some, corner of Iraq. We have to be resilient.
Suleiman says while the FBI told him it's monitoring the situation, he says the threats just make him more defiant. On Wall Street today, U.S. stocks dropped slightly, but investors expect a Fed rate hike later this week. Here's a look at stocks of local interest. Athens residents woke up to some snow this morning. It's not the same degree that's hitting the East Coast, but it was enough to cover roads. That story still ahead.
And we're looking at some frigid days and nights ahead. We'll see our next chance for precipitation, rain, and snow included up next in my extended forecast.
Professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere. Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home.
Good evening and welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Adriana Davies. And as for right now in Athens, 27 degrees under mostly cloudy skies with winds at 14 miles an hour. So do keep in mind, since these winds are so high and speedy today, the wind chill will be significantly lower. So we'll have to be, if we're out and about, running to the library, running errands tonight, definitely bundle up and make sure you keep your exposed body parts protected, like gloves and scarves and hats and stuff like that. Our almanac for today, obviously we were well above normal, so that's kind of strange. We aren't used to being below normal, so we are used to those above average temperatures. That is a little bit of a change, and that will stick around for the next few days as well. Our temperatures around the region, 30 down in Ironton, 22 up in Columbus, and 26 over in Newark. As for tonight in Athens, 15 degrees with winds from the northwest at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Like I said, those wind chills will make it seem significantly cooler than it is outside. Mostly cloudy skies for this time of the year. That's, like I said, we're a little bit below average, but we got to get used to winter at some point, I guess. You can't stick around forever. Our overnight lows for the area, 16 down in Ironton, 16 over in Cambridge, 17 over in Marietta and Ripley, with mostly cloudy skies for the area. Our precipcast for tomorrow, we're looking relatively dry. We will see a little bit of precipitation head in towards the end of the week. That will be when the low pressure system starts to head our direction. But as for right now, we will stay relatively dry as well into tomorrow night. We're looking at a high pressure system moving in, which will make sunny skies, clear sunny days, which are kind of falsely leading the cooler temperatures that we will be seeing. At the bus stop tomorrow, 24 degrees. The wind chills will still be relatively cool. 5 degrees is what they're saying for this area, or -5 degrees is what they're saying for this area, which is very chilly. So definitely bundle up if you're out in the morning. Winds from the west-northwest, at 10 to 15 miles an hour. Tomorrow, 34 in Athens, chilly day again, gusty winds throughout the day, but 34 degrees. The wind chills won't be negative anymore. Tomorrow around the area, 32 down in Ironton, 31 up in Cambridge, and 35 over in Marietta with partly cloudy skies around the region. 16 by 8 a.m. By noon, we're looking at 24, and by 4 p.m. we'll start to peak with our high at 32. Like I said, 34, so it will be a little bit warmer. For our extended forecast, we will see the winter temperatures stick around just for a little bit. 43 on Friday, but into the weekend we will see a little bit of a warm up, and then when spring starts next Monday, we will see cooler temperatures. And I'm kind of excited for those the warmer temperatures to come on back. I am not a fan of the winter. And now over to you, Lily.
Thanks, Adriana. Athens residents woke up to some snow this morning, and while it's not the same degree that's hitting the East Coast, it was enough to cover the roads. It's hard to judge what Mother Nature is going to do, but it's the job of Andrew Stone and the rest of the Athens Engineering and Public Works Office to make sure the roads are safe for driving.
The biggest issue is when the forecast is non-committal. So, it either is going to snow and it's going to start at 7 a.m. and we're going to start it and get after it at 7 a.m. or it's not going to snow at all. Those are forecasts that I like. The forecast where there's a 40% chance for 2 days, that's a forecast that is problematic because it's difficult in scheduling your workforce.
How's it going, everyone? Tonight in sports, one Ohio team has a chance to do something they have not done since 2004. Plus, the Ohio women's basketball team accepted an invitation to a major tournament. See who and when they play when Newswatch returns. Be sure to stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public TV station.
Everybody here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open. You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us. I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, this is it. And she said, the tour's just started. I said, no, you don't understand. This is it.
Welcome back. I'm Nick Orsini. Last night, the Ohio hockey team defeated the Adrian Bulldogs 4-2 to advance to the Division I ACHA Finals. The Bobcats struck first on a tip-in from Patrick Spellacy with 4:30 left in the second period. After the Bulldogs tied it up with just a couple seconds before the horn sounded, Ohio came out of the locker room and scored 3 straight goals to put the game out of reach. The Bobcats outshot Adrian 53-24, making it the third playoff game in a row with 50 or more shots on net for the Bobcats. Ohio and the Central Oklahoma Broncos battle for the championship at the top of the hour at the Ice House in Columbus. The women might have had a heartbreaking loss in the MAC tournament, but the women have accepted an invitation to the Women's Invitational Tournament to battle the Penn State Lady Nittany Lions in the first round. The Bobcats' dreams for a MAC championship came to a screeching halt after a 72-71 loss to Northern Illinois. Despite the loss, Ohio and their 6 seniors get one last chance to end their careers at Ohio as a champion. Tip-off is scheduled for 7 o'clock on Friday night. Sticking to the hardwood, the Cleveland Cavaliers look to get back on track tonight against the Detroit Pistons. The Cavs ran into James Harden and the comeback Rockets Sunday night and fell 117-112. Despite 30 points from LeBron James and 28 from Kyrie Irving, Harden recorded his 16th triple-double of the season to outduel Cleveland. Cleveland has dropped 4 of their last 5 games, and their lead in the Eastern Conference is just now down to 2 games. Tip-off between the Cavs and the Pistons is set for the top of the hour. Now switching to the high school level, 3 teams in the Hardwood Heroes coverage continue to contend for a state title. Currently going on inside the Convo, the Waterford Wildcats are facing the Wellington Dukes, and as of 6:40, Wellington was leading 15-11 midway through the second quarter. Now coming up on Thursday, the Vinton County Vikings face the Meadowbrook Colts at 6:15 inside the Convo. And the last remaining girls team, the Waterford Lady Wildcats take on the Jackson Center Lady Tigers at 6:15 inside the Shot in Columbus. Now back to the ice. The Columbus Blue Jackets escape Philadelphia with the 5-3 win over the Flyers. Cam Atkinson scored 2 goals and Brandon Dubinsky had the go-ahead goal in the third period to ice the game. The win secured a franchise record for wins and points in a season for the Jackets. Columbus is now just 1 point away from the top spot in the Eastern Conference with 94 points. The Jackets return to action Thursday night to take on the Florida Panthers. I'm Nick Orsini, and that's all I got for you in sports. Back to you, Lily.
Thanks, Nick. Math lovers, get excited. Today is National Pi Day. Not pi as in the dessert, but as in the math symbol. It's the Greek letter pi. Pi is the ratio of the circumference of a circle to its diameter. Keeping it simple, it's 3.14, like March 14th. But PiDay.org says people have calculated pi to more than 1 trillion digits past its decimal point. Some people challenge themselves to memorize as many of those numbers past the decimal point as they can. But how you choose to celebrate National Pi Day is up to you. Feel free to be irrational if you want, since pi is an irrational number.
And I might just have to get a piece of pie now. Good evening, I'm Adriana Davies. 15 degrees in Athens tonight as our low. It is a frigid night. We are not used to these cooler temperatures. The wind gusts will make it seem significantly cooler as well under mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow in Athens, 34 degrees as our high. Chilly day, again, just like today pretty much. Gusty winds throughout the day tomorrow as well. Winds from the west-northwest at 10 to 20 miles an hour. So it will be chilly with the wind. Like I said, again, not as chilly as tonight, though. As for our extended forecast, we are looking at the next few days will be kind of like today. We are looking at a little bit of chilly temperatures, but we are going to move through into next week. We will see temperatures drop into, or begin to rise up into the 50s to start our spring. And now over to Lily for our goodbyes.
Thanks, Adriana. That does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Lily Bradley. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org.